Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show. Actor Lodric D. Collins is today's guest. Lodric will talk about his experiences in the world of entertainment, including his incredible work on the BET hit series The Oval.
Welcome to another episode of Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. Our show is all about sharing the experiences of incredible people. We hope these stories resonate with you and even nudge you to make positive changes in your own lives. Perhaps you know someone who could benefit from hearing today's story, someone who's facing challenges and needs a reminder that they are not alone in pursuing their dreams. Today's guest is Lodric D. Collins. What a great actor. He has a powerful story, as we'll learn more about his journey from the military to TV and beyond. Let's bring him on. Lodric D. Collins, welcome to Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.
Glad to be here.
So great to have you here. Lodric, what can you tell us about your childhood? It doesn't seem to me like acting was in your sights early on.
It was, actually, I grew up in Louisiana, a small town called Lake Charles, Louisiana. Louisiana wasn't the acting hub of the South like it is now. Tax incentives weren't a thing. So it wasn't a big thing. But I think like at the age of like 6, my grandmother brought me to a theater performance. It was like The Adventures of Oliver Twist or something. Oh. And it was some abandoned warehouse next to the railroad tracks. When I say railroad tracks, you know it's a little sketchy. Like this theater in the middle of nowhere that we didn't even know was a theater, a big elaborate theater. And I remember going inside and escaping into this imaginary world. And I think that's what kind of started it all at the age of 6. But it was kind of a hobby, a hobby that I didn't have a playground for. I had to hunt for playgrounds to fulfill that hobby, to please that hobby. So I think since the age of 6, I'd always been intrigued by it. I never thought of it as a career, but it was a cool outlet for myself. Yeah,
I love that. Some people do it, as you say, as an outlet. Some as an escape. That's why some people write. You have your authors. So it's very interesting. And yeah, back then, certainly Louisiana was not the hub for that. But I want to switch to something else real quickly. I know the military is close to your heart.
It is.
So first of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about your experiences in the military?
First of all, I just remember graduating from high school, going to college in my first year, and I was like, I need an escape. I need an escape, and I need desperately to feel like I'm a part of something important in the world, in life, to my country, to my family. I wanted to be that desperately, and I didn't know a way. And I remember recruiters were creepy to me. So like out of high school, I was like, nah, I'm going to stay away from that because I know a good salesman when I see one. So I remember walking in, making the decision, doing heavy research, making the decision and walking into the recruitment place and saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And then they're trying to pitch me. And I'm like, nope, I got my mind made up. This is what I want to do. I want to study this. I want to do this. Let's go. Where's the paperwork? Sign it. There. It taught me a lot of discipline, It taught me a lot of discipline, but mainly it taught me about the endless boundaries for myself and what I could do, I think I'd existed with limits before the Marine Corps, but after the Marine Corps, limitless possibilities, in terms of me physically, in terms of me mentally. Yeah, it stretched me in ways that I want. I'm not going to say that I never knew possible because I went there for that specifically, on top of being something important to my country. Yeah.
That's so interesting. But what resonates with me, certainly as a past educator, I taught for over 30 years. Yeah. I know you say you want to be part of something important, but that's normally not something you hear from a 17 or 18-year-old. So I need to delve a little bit more deeply into Lodric because that's just not typical. I've been, I taught high school for most of my career, and that's not something that is in the forefront of a young teen's mind. So what about your makeup, your experiences, your philosophy, your upbringing that made you think of something like that in such a mature manner?
That's a really good question, man. And it also links to my acting. I grew up with four brothers. There's five of us, and I'm a middle child. So I spent most of my existence observing, observing everything around me. And on top of that, my dad has eight brothers and sisters who all live he has six brothers and two sisters. So I was always surrounded by predominantly male figures that I always sat in the corner and observed, admired, wanted to be like, asked questions about, I was always an observer. And I know, I was always very aware of what was going on around me. I talk about recruiters and I talk about these things. I was silent about it, but I was always aware. I was aware that recruiters were salespeople that will give you whatever you need to sign this contract. At a very early age, I knew. But I was also unaware of what I had to offer to the world, I knew from observing that there were great things around me and there were great possibilities. I didn't know what they were, and I longed to know what they were. And I longed for challenges, even in school, to help me find my capabilities, my importance, what I bring to the world, to help me find me, I was always aware of that. I think probably since junior high, always aware of how can I be the men that I observe, like my 6, 7 uncles, my 4 brothers, like how can I be close to the greatness that I observe? Not seeing the greatness in myself, but seeing it all around me. And I remember watching commercials about the Marine Corps and the military. I remember talking to people who had finished, relatives, friends down the street, and hearing about the adventures and hearing about the honor that they have to their country, the commitment that they have to the country. And I was like, you know what? I want to know what that feels like. Yeah, I want to know what that feels like, but I don't want to know what it feels like through somebody selling it to me. Let me do my research, figure that out. And yeah, that's what brought me to it. But I was always aware. I think it's just an awareness for me. Mainly, it was an external awareness that always led to a much more self-awareness. I wish I could say it was a self-awareness that led outward, but it was mainly everything around me that led inside. And that's what brought me there. That's what brought me to be an actor, just observing the people around me, these men in my life that I've always admired, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but, with everything that I do, those are the foundations that I start with, I got 4 brothers. We all got 5 completely different personalities. My dad had 6, 7 completely different personalities. All are strong, all have integrity, all are smart, all are hardworking, all are brave, Yeah. So those are the go-tos for me,
Yeah, and that philosophical foundation that you built is incredible. But you have really taken your patriotic passion even further. So how do you see your role as, because I know you're an advocate for U.S. veterans. How do you see it? It seems to me you're a lot more demanding of you and your time than anybody else. So what do you expect from you in that role?
I live in downtown LA. Homelessness and mental illness is a very prevalent thing. And one of my biggest things as an advocate for veterans is making sure that no matter what situation that you're in, that you're given the respect that you deserve for your commitment to this country. Because a lot of them didn't go in with the problems that they have now. A lot of them came out with it. And unfortunately, there's a system to build you up in the way that the government needs, but there's not always a system to bring you back to a foundation that society and you as a civilian needs to exist. And I think that's where a lot of the complications come from with human beings who come back. So I've always done my best to be an advocate for that, whether it's going to the VA, volunteering. There's a section in downtown LA called Skid Row, and a lot of veterans exist there. And I go there once a week, and I make sure I always tell people, hey, when you clean out your closet, put the bags together for me. I want to make sure every Sunday I try to go and I bring water, I bring food, I bring clothes. Sometimes I sit and I talk and I hear their stories, Also, my grandfather was one of the last remaining Buffalo soldiers of World War II. So my respect for the military, my respect for soldiers, and listening to his stories start there. So I see him in every homeless vet I meet. I see him in every vet I kind of talk to on the streets, whether they be a stranger or somebody that I know. Everybody has a story. So I do mud obstacle runs that raise money. We do Tough Mudder. We do the different dash races that have like 12-mile runs with obstacle courses and things like that, just to raise money for veterans, because I think a lot of times they're overlooked. And I think, part of being an actor is you see what's on the surface, but there's so much more underneath. Sometimes we see a homeless person on the street, and they say, hey, I'm a vet. They always have the posters, I'm a vet, needing money, needing food. What's underneath is heavy. What's underneath is heavy. I would say most of them who have these signs, who are on the street, who are going through this, are a result of the commitment that they gave to this country. So for me, it's a hard thing to exist in this world knowing that there are people who didn't sacrifice their lives, but also sacrifice a lot of this, that are still existing in a place of disrepair, So it's my duty, however I can, to support that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
My heart bleeds for that.
Yeah. It resonates. Yeah, I'm sorry?
My heart bleeds for that. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm just going to say that resonates so much with me, because before I started this show, it started as an audio podcast, and we've grown so much. I'm so proud of that. But one of my first ever interviews, Lodric, was with Colonel Jefferson, who was one of the last remaining Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
And he was 95 at the time of the interview. And great interview, audio. I never hit the record button. So I had to call his daughter up and apologize so much. No problem. 2 days later, he gets back on again. When you talk about these stories, it's a script that writes itself.
It is.
And it's so powerful, and the pride and things of that nature. So now we take this military background and things you do now with the military, your advocacy, but now I'm sure, because I know people have been in the military, they always take things, not one thing, multiple. They take things from their military philosophy, training, and background and bring it to their career, their life, their family, their friends. So what do you bring from your military experiences to the screen?
So I've always been a person that didn't take no for an answer in my own ways. I just didn't understand the limits of it. The Marine Corps helped me understand that, and it also helped me understand that to be successful, I need to find a discipline for myself and what my goals are, But also, let me just say, before the Marine Corps, there was my father. I grew up pouring concrete with my father as a cement finisher. He was a cement finisher. And he would wake me up on the weekends at like 3:30 in the morning, because the lesson was, even if he didn't have a job that day, we had to pass out business cards in mailboxes that day at least. So we'd wake up at 3:30 in the morning to get ready to pass out business cards, so that when people woke up first thing in the morning, they saw that business card from my dad. Or we'd wake up with the job of pouring concrete, whether it was cards or not, it's still 3:30 in the morning to get up, pour concrete. And I'm talking since elementary school, So that, compounded with the Marine Corps, taught me a great discipline. One, of the early bird catches the worm, but also that there's a discipline, and the labor that you do now reaps the reward later. And that's like the strongest thing of what both those things combined I've always taken from. Of course, the Marine Corps brought an honor and an integrity to it as a man that was on a whole nother level of what I knew before and stretched the boundaries. I know from my trail as an actor has been one of the early bird catches the worm, first, even on set, first on set, last one to leave if possible. And while you're there, observing, learning as much as you can, because a student always, I'm an actor, but I'm a student all day, every day. And I think when I stop being that, that's when it's probably time to go back up, you know? Yeah. It's taught me that in a major way, you know? But again, that's still always been the foundation of me as an observer. The Marine Corps just expounded these things that I am. And it helped me know myself a lot better, you know? It helped me know myself a lot better. This industry that we're in is composed of a lot of no's. A lot of no's.
Yep.
Yeah, especially in the beginning.
Yep.
And it doesn't stop, you know? It doesn't stop. The no's don't stop. But there's a lesson learned through pouring concrete with my father, through the Marine Corps, that knowing that those no's are going to lead to at least one yes. And when that one yes comes, you do what you can to market that yes as best as possible for more yeses, you know? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
strategy.
you said it's unbelievable because when I see the powerhouse names of people who almost got this part for this movie, when they were well known, I mean, I couldn't even be in the business because one guy calls me, he's well known. Yeah, the part's yours. Don't have to audition. No, you know who you are. You know, so it's unbelievable. The no's never stop. I would think also that so much preparation in the military. It's all about preparation. We talk about the different roles that you've had. How does someone prepare for the role of Smokey Robinson?
With a lot of anxiety. Because that role happened really quick. We had just come off of season 1 of The Oval. I auditioned for it. And I think when we booked the role, it was a really fast turnaround of less than a week. So it was like, wait, you know, wait. We have less than a week to prepare for one of my idols, one of the most iconic music composers, writers, and singers in history, you know, someone that I've always admired, you know. A day of anxiety and craziness in my mind. And then, you know, Marine Corps kicks in and is like, okay, it's time to accomplish a mission. Let's start just by playing every single album that we know from day to night, and we'll find something in it, you know? And I was like, oh, there's a creative person in this that's telling me a story throughout everything. There's Tears of a Clown, Tracks of My Tears. He's telling me a story of, you know, there's so much more behind the smile, you know, there's so much more behind all these things. Now let's find what's behind that, you know? Yeah, and from that, we started digging into history and we found this brave, talented person that was this flower in weeds that with so many facets, you know, so many facets. And we pulled from there. Yeah, we pulled from there. We had a week to do that. But everything happened for a reason, you know, everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
So did you do any singing of your own? Did you just lip sync along with the things? How did that work?
We did a happy birthday song, myself and Titus Burgess, to Jennifer Hudson, who plays Aretha beautifully. There's a happy birthday thing that we do together. Titus, of course, blows me away because he's like a Broadway legend, acting legend, musical legend. So you hear the undertones of Lodric D. Collins and Smokey Robinson.
Absolutely. Well, Well, you talk about there's so many things I have to keep bringing back to the military is adaptability as well. So there's a switch you have to flip because you have to switch from Smokey Robinson to the Chief of Staff in Tyler Perry's hit series on BET, The Oval. I mean, I hope you didn't forget yourself and start singing Smokey Robinson songs by mistake in one of your scenes. I mean, how do you make that transition?
You know, the Marine Corps lends itself, I forget to think about this, man. You know, the Marine Corps led to a lot of roles in my career. You know, my first on-screen acting job was on All My Children. Casting director called me, and we auditioned. He was like, "Your resume is crazy. What is this resume? We got to fix this." Bob Lambert. He says, "We got to fix this resume. Tell me about yourself." I was like, "Oh, I was in the Marine Corps." He's like, "You're in the Marine Corps? Wait, do you know how to rappel? You dope guns?" I was like, "Yeah, I know all that stuff, you know?" And one day he calls me and he says, "Hey, did you update your resume like I told you to?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Send it to me." He says, "I got an audition for a military guy. Everything happens for a reason. There's a military guy someone drives off of a cliff, and he's a military guy that is saving this person that drives off of a cliff. I arrive on set, all my lines ready, of course, and there's a mountain built in the studio with a waterfall, and my job, deliver lines, rappel off of the mountain to save the guy. And I think about that though, but like that was the first role, and some of the major roles before the Oval were like captain of a militia, sergeant of a police station, chief of staff of the United States. So, going back to that early question, it all leads, I think about it as you and I talk, like there's no coincidences, that specific training has all led to kind of like, has been preparation for all these roles, including chief of staff down on Winthrop in the Oval. Yeah, there's a conservative patriotism that exists in each one of them. Yeah.
That's incredible. And, there's a famous movie line, you had me at hello. When you just spoke, you lost me at rappel. If I'm showing up and they say, look, I'm going to rappel or I'm going to do my lines. You can't have both. So pick one. That's incredible that you had that background. That's amazing. You mentioned soap operas, and I worked with someone. I interviewed somebody from The Young and the Restless, Kate Linder, who's been on the show for over 42 years. And there's such a big demand in workload. But what's the difference in demand and workload between a one-shot movie or a one-shot commercial and then a series? Because now you really have to embody and become that person.
Yeah. It's the soap operas, my career actually started in New York with doing theater. Soap operas, theater, and the genre that I work in with Tyler Perry all go hand in hand, because it's really one shot, one kill with these things. It's like doing a theater show in New York on Broadway, where it's one take, there's no cameras. Soap opera's the same thing. They shoot 360, well, not on weekends, but they shoot 5 days a week every day. There's no season, So it's basically you go in, you get that one great shot, and we're out, With the Oval, it's very similar. We shoot very fast. It's typically one shot. Preparation is everything, Preparation is the hugest part of the genre in which we shoot with this. More so, I would say, than soap operas, because, you mess up on soap operas, you might get some redirect, With this, it's go. Hey, good to see you. You ready? Okay, let's go. And the cameras are rolling from start to finish, we all go back to the first question that you asked about the Marine Corps and how it prepares you. I didn't really know how to answer that in the beginning, but as I'm talking to you, I'm like, I see. Yeah. Preparation from the Marine Corps has taught me, it's the foundation of what I'm doing now, of what I've done since the beginning of rappelling off of that mountain, Yeah. Preparation has been the biggest part. We're about to go into season 7 now of the Oval. I think in probably September, but the preparation for me starts at the beginning of August,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, Lodric, with a couple of minutes we have left on my show, we really talk about the story behind the glory. What struggles did you have to overcome to achieve success as an actor? You get so many no's, and it's a business. Some people just see the glory. They just see the glitz and the glamour. They don't know the story behind the glory. What struggles did you have to overcome?
Anxiety. Yeah. Anxiety has been my biggest thing, and it's my first time really verbalizing it. But it's been, and I'm comfortable verbalizing it now because I've spoken it out to myself. It's been the biggest thing as of recent. That's a clear thing for me to speak on, And I think, we work on those things with a lot of meditation, We work on those things with a lot of speaking the things that we want and believing the things that we speak into existence. We work on those things by quieting those crazy things in the head that tell you you can't do this, that set those boundaries that, we work on those things by knowing who we are. We work on those things by knowing that we're a child of God. That's my belief. Yeah, we work on those things by surrounding ourselves with positive people who have positive things to say, who have positive encouragement, who mean you well. Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah, quieting those crazy voices in my head. Once I do that, I'm good. Yeah.
That's it. Don't take that too lightly, though. That's such a powerful thing and a courageous thing you just did, sharing that with us, because in education and through all the things and people I deal with now and work with, if I'm doing consulting or something, anxiety, from what I see, is so much more prevalent. Maybe it was hidden better years ago when I was a teen and when you were a teen. I don't know. But the fact that, you mentioned, I can't thank you enough for that. So, and sharing that. So Lodric D. Collins, thank you for being such a special guest, sharing your impactful journey with us and really your personal experiences and your trials and tribulations. For all the viewers watching, I hope Lodric's journey has shown you that anything is possible. Remember, you have the power to make positive changes in your own life. We love to hear from you, so stay connected with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and LinkedIn. Don't forget to like us and follow us for the latest episode, updates, and exciting new content. Lodric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Marc, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Marc, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.